Hello. Now, the new IGN deities have hit the live server, and just like everyone else, I've been leveling one. And I'm of course working my way up to the only new IGN deity that I really care about, which is the Akizuki, which is has multiple strengths, and you can spec it in multiple different ways. You can go to stealth aspect, or you can go to anti-air. There's a 3x4 build, which involves AFT and manual AA, which is incredibly strong anti-air. It has a lot of utility, and I've even got a captain leveled up for it. But I figured I'd take a pit stop at the Shiratsuyu. Now I'm using my Akizuki captain, which means of course I have a gunboat captain, and this, as you should know by now, this really isn't that much of a gunboat. I'm trying to convince my team that they should push into B. This map naturally favors pushing B from the south. You got this nice rock you see on E7. You got this nice rock formation that can cover you. If you push up right south of that rock, you can shoot into B and cover all the way to A as well. Like, you can cover this entire area while being protected from the north. But for some reason you have people who try to push into C, or they go south around A, or you got people going all these boneheaded directions when the map is so strong if you simply push right in there. Now the DD next to me is smoking up. I have no idea why. I hate when people do that, when they push into a cap and they smoke up for no reason. If you smoke up and hide in the smoke, well, you're not going to be spotting anything for your team, so I push straight through the smoke because, of course, I want to be spotting. That's part of your job as IGN DD. Well, any DD. You should be spotting for your team, so I push through the smoke and I spot for my entire team south of us. And they're able to shoot at them because of this spotting. So if you ever charge into a cap and you pop smoke for absolutely no reason, well, first of all, you wasted an important cooldown. Second of all, you've let the entire enemy team know exactly where you are as a DD. And of course, you're providing absolutely no spotting and no intelligence for your team, which makes you even more useless. So what that guy did is literally the worst thing to do as a DD. Now, some good things about running this gunboat stealth spec that I'm running, which I'm planning for the Akizuki. I'm able to stealth fire. I'm actually not sitting in the smoke, in case you're wondering. I'm just able to shoot from far enough away that I'm basically stealth firing, which is of course very, very useful. But the problem, of course, is that the Shiratsuyu really isn't a gunboat, so the value of these shells can be debated, because looking at my damage, I've hit what, 17, 18 shots, and I've done a total of 2.7k damage with no fires. So the whole gunboat aspect doesn't really work that well on this ship, simply because the reload is so long and the guns aren't really that impressive. But considering I might as well pump out some damage, maybe get a fire, force a damage con, and it's kind of a good way also finding out if there's any DDs near. If I shoot at them and I get spotted, then I know there's something between me and the enemy battleships that I have not detected. Now my torps are about to come up, and these Colorado and Koenig look like pretty interesting targets. Now, of course, as I've always said, when you're torping battleships, you never want to torp them from the front. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to go to the right so I can get an angle on them and get more of a broadside approach on them. Now, this Satsuharu is slowing down because I see the Satsuharu torping. Okay, those are terrible torps. If I hadn't slowed down because I noticed the indicator warning, then he would have team killed me right there. If I would kept going full speed, those would have hit me right in the side. So those were some really terrible torps. Now, as my torps are almost about to hit, I smoke up and I start hammering them. And my spread so far, as usual, I did the spread of shooting a bit to the right and a bit to the left at the target. So of course they have a really hard time dodging them. In this case, I score some really good hits. Get the flooding, of course, which means I'm gonna keep spamming him and get some hits on the Koenig behind him as well. I'm gonna focus mostly on the Colorado right now because he's used his damage con, so I want to get a permanent fire on him. It looks like he's about to eat this Hatsuharu's second volley of torps though, so he's pretty much dead. And now the plan is, of course, to get a fire on the second Koenig, who has also used his damage con, since he obviously got flooding and he's no longer flooding. This is something I always recommend. This doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this ship isn't a gunboat, just like it doesn't matter in Kageros or Shimakazes or any of the similar ones. It doesn't matter if you're not a gunboat. If you have the capability to smoke up and start spamming HE shells at them, do it, because those fires will deal a lot of damage. They are percentage based, and getting an unrepairable fire, getting a couple of them, can kill the battleship outright. Especially here, if I get 2 fires, he would probably die. But I doubt I'll have such RNG, especially since he's smart enough to just sail straight away from me. And my smoke ran out. I start speeding up a couple of desperate volleys, honestly. Moving a bit further, I want to get stealthed. I'm going to keep firing pretty much as long as I can, but it looks like it's a wasted attempt. And he's outside of my stealth range, so I could just fire for free here, but yeah. It's taken me so long to even get this fire that his damage gun will pretty much soon be up, so this is pretty much a wasted effort. And of course this HE doesn't really do that much damage, so I'm just gonna let that Koenig run off on his own. Instead I'm gonna focus on B. Surprisingly, my team has actually pushed pretty aggressively into B. This is quite uncommon. Usually they tend to sit much further back. So happy to see this. I move in to support them now after I've done what I wanted at A. Now there is one Akizuki there. I don't want to open fire, let him know I'm here yet until I've turned my guns a bit. I want to get my guns aligned on him, and now I open fire. There's no need to panic if you got a spotting advantage like that. Someone else was spotting him for me, probably a spotter plane or something. So I open up fire when all my guns are on him, and that forces him to move forward. And of course he's gonna run into the waiting hands of the rest of my team. Hatsuharu is also here. Has he even noticed me? No, he's shooting at someone else, shooting at our Hatsuharu. So I'll happily trade some volleys with him. While the Shiratsuyu isn't a gunboat, of course you should still always use your guns whenever you can. No point wasting my torps on the Gneisenhaus house. He's about to slip behind the island. Now of course one of the issues comes up here when running this gunboat spec. You don't have the health pool of a gunboat. You have 12.8k HP. So playing this torpedo boat with a gunboat spec and as a gunboat without survivability expert means that, well, you can't really take many hits at all. And of course I'm trying to save my smokes as much as possible, because unlike a gunboat who can take battles quite easily, as a torpedo boat you usually want to save those smokes for when you have to get away. In fact, I'm still not smoking up. I'm just trying to extend it as long as possible. Uh-oh. Yeah, now I have to smoke up. There's no way I can dodge anymore. Or do I? I really don't want to waste the smoke though. Sometimes I'm even too stubborn with saving them, but now I notice my torps missed. So at this point, is his guns aimed at me? Or they're still not? Yeah, whatever. Let's smoke, just in case. Because I don't want... his guns are pointed at me now, and I don't want to risk losing so much HP to that. But I tend to be very, very stubborn when it comes to using that smoke. And in this case, it didn't really cost me anything. Like, I could have used the smoke earlier and been safer, but ultimately it didn't really cost me anything. And... wow, I think someone just shot at that guy and hit me for 1k, so I did end up losing some HP here. But I'm just gonna throw some torps at this guy. He should die from this range. He's gonna have a hard time dodging them. But in general, when you play gunboats, especially or torpedo boats, you kind of want to save your smoke, because not only is it your lifesaver, but as I said, there are moments when you just want to use it to get those fires going on someone who's used their damage con, especially battleships. And having that ability is so strong, and it's such an additional threat to have, such an additional like thing in your arsenal, there's just no point not to use it. Oh, I'm slowing down as soon as this guy's spotted. Since I can stealth fire him, I'm going to do it as long as I can. Getting some more use out of this smoke. I was about to glide out of my smoke, but once he got spotted, I decided to stay in it until I finished the kill. We are... well, that was someone dead. So we are 3 versus 5 right now. Our Hatsuharu is terribly out of position. You can see he's on I3. And this Koenig... is he reacting to this Hatsuharu? Their enemy team is already saying GG. They have called GG at this point. What do you think, chat? Is this GG? Has the enemy team won? They have 200 points on us. Oh god, this Koenig isn't dodging at all. He's sailing in a straight line, and this Hatsuharu is closing the distance. Well, this looks pretty awkward. Yeah, the Koenig isn't reacting enough at all, and the Koenig goes down. So we are 2 versus 5. 288 versus 500. Well, now we're 2 versus 4. Being pushed from the south by what looks like a Shiratsuyu, Aoba, and Kongo. Now you look at this line where I'm torping. I torp right in the convergent point of all of them. Yes, it's also mostly aimed at the Aoba, but if you notice, the Shiratsuyu is sailing towards me, so he's probably going to be intercepting those. And the Kongo from the furthest back is also sailing that way. Now, I'm not going to stay here and contest the cap. I just want to make my escape. Going towards C would be too risky at this point, and it might even be expected. I think the Koenig might spot me. So I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go the safer route, which is just straight away from the cap. My torps are going into that intersection. Let's see, is the Aoba going to dodge them? What about Shiratsuyu and Kon? Oh, and that's the Shiratsuyu. He ate, the Aoba dodged them, but the Shiratsuyu ate one of them. So we've evened a bit from 2 versus 4 to 2 versus 3. So there's still some hope. Now I gotta make sure I don't get spotted though. This Koenig looks like a pretty tempting torpedo target, but I gotta keep my distance. Now my concealment is 5.8, but you don't want to go too far. In fact, I'm gonna slow down, slowing down, slowing down. I'm gonna slow down here. 6.2, that's pretty optimal. If it suddenly turns in, I should have enough time to react and get away. Oh, 6.1, that's a bit. 6.4. I don't want to get spotted with this HP. I only have 6k HP. I mean, it looks like half health, but since I don't have the survivability expert, since it's a gunboat spec, this is actually very squishy. Yeah, this 400 meter buffer, 6.2, this is what I want to keep. Because the reason I don't want to sail too far away is because it's significantly harder to hit torps the further away you go. Which is also one of the reasons I really like the Shimokaze short range torps, because they are fairly easy to hit something with, because, well, you already use them from close range, but they just have tremendous speed. Launching torps on him, and now I gotta speed up. That Aoba is gonna be heading towards A. Yeah, I'm using my torpedo booster. That of course reduces the reload of my torps to 5 seconds. Now the plan is here, torps hit Koenig, kill him, and then maybe the Aoba isn't expecting any more torps right now. There he is, he's heading towards A. The reason I don't shoot where the white target is because I expect him to turn into A. You see, I expect him to turn the hard left A. Well, Koenig turned enough that he dodged most of it. Okay, but he used his, I got a flooding and he used his damage con. That means at 7:30, Kriegsmarine repair lasts 15 seconds, I think it was. So at 7:30 I can start shooting him and get a fire. Sadly the Aoba decided to go hunting me instead of sailing away. I guess he realized I could deal with the Koenig, so he wants to deal with it, which was honestly a pretty smart choice by him. I'm telling my Hatsuhara back there to do something useful. He's been trying to torp this Kongo the entire time, but he torps from too far away, so the torps run out before they hit. Okay, the time has passed, the repair has gone. Now, I don't want to smoke up yet, because if I smoke up now, I won't have anyone spotting this Koenig. I need this Koenig to shoot first, and there we go. Koenig shoots. The Koenig has shot. Okay, I ate a bit of damage, but now that the Koenig has shot, now I can pop my smoke. Because now it's guaranteed that the Hatsuhara that's so far away will be spotting this Koenig, because of course shooting increases your detection range significantly. So now that I have this safety buffer, I know that he's spotted, now I can afford to do this. If I had smoked up instantly and it turns out he would have been outside of concealment range, well then I would have wasted my smoke and had a really hard time of doing anything. So I had to eat that damage just to make sure that I had the spotting advantage over him. It was a risk, yes, but it was a calculated risk. Now that got me my Kraken and we're down to 2 versus 2. But now I gotta haul ass out of here. As soon as my speed boost comes up, I will be popping it because I need to get out of here. This Aoba is going to be charging me fast. He's seen all the torps I've used, so I would have torps now, but very, very risky to sit back there. And of course, if he manages to shoot me before I launch the torps, it doesn't matter if I trade him, because then it's all on this Hatsuhara to win it. So I'm popping speed boost and I'm going in the straightest possible line to lose as little speed as possible, because I know that Aoba is going to be charging through that smoke after me. So the more distance I manage to create, the better. Hatsuhara finally understood that he should do something useful instead of trying to torp this guy from behind, so he went and capped C, which is fantastic because now the points will start ticking the other way. Kongo managed to dodge all the torps. Oh, Aoba popped up at a place I wasn't expecting him. I thought he would pop up the other side and I was still a bit too close. Now I just gotta juke this volley. Just barely managed to juke most of it. I do hit 1k damage. Oh, it's some more damage, I'm down to 860, but I am out of concealment, or out of detection range, and these shots should be blind. Yeah, they are blind shots. So I survived, and it's very important that I survived because we need to swing the points in our favor. Now, it's ideal if this Aoba keeps chasing me, that's fantastic. I'm perfectly okay with this. I'm giving this Hatsuharu orders. Go cap B after he's capped C. I'm gonna keep kiting this guy around. If the Kongo sails down to A, then the Hatsuharu can hope cap B behind him, which would be fantastic. If the Kongo just sits as B, well then we got a 2 cap advantage. Now, I guess the Aoba understands that chasing me is pointless, and he's not gonna achieve anything by doing that. So he turns around to go deal with C. Now I of course can't have that. First of all, no disrespect to our Hatsuharu, but I don't know if he knows, like, if he's careful enough and so forth. So I need to stop this guy. So I pop my last torpedo booster or torpedo reloader, and I just blast all my torps there. I want to stop this Aoba in his tracks, hopefully kill him. I kept telling him to play safe, that they are coming after him, and he takes the good path, which is going the south way around. I like that. Going the south way around is significantly safer. And I got a bunch of torps out for this Aoba. The reason, by the way, I also didn't sit in the smoke waiting is there's the possibility that the Aoba might have had hydroacoustic search, and that would have been incredibly unfortunate if I sat there and he pops in with hydroacoustic search and wrecks me. Oh, he's already turning away from the torps though. And because of the Aoba, I think he managed to get just perfectly lucky enough that he managed to dodge them. Is he going to dodge the next volley as well? He grounded to dodge them though. And this is of course fantastic. Yes, I did not kill him. Or did I? No. The torps are going to miss. Okay, so I didn't kill him, but I wasted a lot of his time. He's going to have to ground, he's grounding, he's going to have to reverse, pick up speed again, go chasing again. It's going to take him so much time, and the Kongo is slowly making his way to sea. Yes, the Kongo is faster than New York, but it's still a slow battleship, and that's going to take a while. And meanwhile, what this Aoba is doing, all this slow moving and poking around, we have been holding 2 caps. And if you look at the score, suddenly we're 720 to 800, only 80 points behind. And we're catching up fast. Now the Aoba, is he gonna charge into the cap? Looks like is he going for C as well? They're going to try to maybe bottle this Hatsuharu in, but our Hatsuharu is already made his way to B, as I told him, which is a good move from him. I'm happy actually he did that. Let's see, is the Aoba gonna... Yeah, the Aoba actually reacted. The Aoba decided, nope, I'm gonna go stop that B cap. So I tell him, I warn him that the Aoba is turning his way, so he's very much aware of it. And I'm telling him he can just move away. Like, move away and cap as you do. The idea is, of course, I want him to move up to the edge of the cap. That way he can probably secure the cap while the Aoba closes in. Meanwhile, of course, suddenly the one thing that I spoke about earlier, stealth firing, well, suddenly it's become a bit of a desperation move. Well, I'm still doing 0 damage, but all harassment I can do is great. And this time, he's actually eating a torp. So now this becomes even more potent, because getting a fire on him now would be really fantastic. So I'm gonna keep chasing him. Hatsuharu hopefully will manage to get the cap. The biggest part here is right now the enemy isn't gaining any points, while we are constantly taking points because we still hold that A point. And suddenly, 817 to 812. With 1 minute and 20 seconds to spare, we have managed to turn it around from a 2 versus 5 to currently in the lead. However, someone in chat, well played gents, bloody impressive comeback, which is always nice to hear. Now suddenly I left my ship turning while I was typing. I really don't want this guy to just sit in a smoke, and considering I just lost vision of him, I'm thinking our Hatsuharu is sitting in a smoke, which could be disastrous. He should really not be doing that. Because if the Aoba manages to kill the Hatsuharu, then we lose. So he's taking a really unnecessary risk right now. All he needs to do is sail away, because I can keep resetting him infinitely by stealth firing. Literally the only way they can kill now is by killing our Hatsuharu. I really want him to move away, but it looks like he's decided on smoking up and taking this huge risk. Oh god, I don't like this. He's so close to throwing this game. Like, the safest option would be just to sail away, and that would be a guaranteed win. And he's oh, here we go. No, fuck. Oh, he got hit. Please no. have mercy. Don't dodge the thank God. He lands the torps. So that guarantees the win. But that was completely unnecessary. We had already done all the groundwork to win that. The only thing he did there was risk losing. We had literally, the timer was on 0.0 seconds. And the game finally ends. This was my first win of the day, hence the absolutely ridiculous XP. Got my Kraken, and well, you see the XP rewards for basically turning this 2 versus 5 around. Anyway, I thought this was a pretty fun game, even though I'm not a fan of how the ending was played out. A full 20-minute game with a huge comeback, always entertaining and always satisfying.